Just kind of snap it off like that. I've seen a lot of people in tech support everywhere else in training do that. Comes right off. But there's all different settings back here, so you can basically adjust it to whatever height you feel comfortable with. So I'll give you an example here. It'll look just like that. So you can go 1, 2, 3 different settings almost straight up. And then also if you look back here, here's a headset jack. So you can put in just about any type of headset that you like. Some of the more popular ones are Gen, Netcom, Plantronics. You can use the headsets that have the amplified bass, but you don't have to. You can also use a headset that plugs into the back and you just adjust the volume with your up and down arrow keys right here on the front of the phone. It also has a port for an expansion console, which is you might be familiar with. The receptionist will have a little expansion console out here with 60 more buttons, and then another one you can kind of daisy chain those if you like. This back on. Just like that. This right here is an indicator light. Actually, let me get rid of this voicemail.
Hi. Message.
And basically the way it works, if someone's on the telephone, it's going to be lit up red, just like this. If someone's not on the phone, it's going to be not lit up like this one over here. So if I was to walk in your office, Jerry, I can see that light is on. I know not to come in talking, so I can see it from 360 degrees around the room. Now if it's flashing red like this, that means you have a new voicemail message. Okay, so if you look in the display here, it'll show today's date and time, how many new messages you have in voicemail, how many old messages you have, and then these little squares or rectangles in the bottom left-hand corner represent line appearance. So on this demo kit right now, it's showing that you have 6 lines available. So in the example we're talking about up here, when you have 20 other locations or whatever, most of them are small stores with 8 employees or 8 telephones. You may only have 3 or 4 lines. You'll have an indication of those right there. Okay. This phone right here is the first phone system out there that I've seen that has what's called visual voicemail. And what that means is if you actually hit your voicemail key, if you watch down here,
Please select the voicemail you wish to hear. When finished, simply hang up the phone.
so if you look in the top left corner where it says new over here, those are all your new voicemail messages, and the ones below that are your older voicemail. Okay. So what can you do is if you hit the button to the right here, watch what happens in the display. It'll show you the envelope information, the caller ID name, the number, the date, time, and the duration of that voicemail. If you actually want to hear it, press the button over here to the left.
Hey, it's Mike McDonald returning your call. I actually found the part you're looking for. Call me back.
Good job, Mike.
To automatically return this call, press the redial
So
key.
you know all those
To hear
things,
this
right?
message again, press 4.
I'm a
To
first-time
delete,
first
press
caller. I've
7.
never seen this
To
demo.
save, press 9. To save as new, press 9 twice. To copy this message to another mailbox, press 6. To record a new message, press pound. Message.
Usually what I'll do is I'll take my phone out and say, if you want to delete a message on your cell phone, you hit 7 to delete or 9 to save. It's the same on these phones. 7 delete, 9 to save. If you hit 9 twice, it'll save it as a new voicemail. If you hit 6, then you can hit anybody's DSS key or their extension. You can actually send them a voicemail message, and you can leave an introduction on it if you like. Okay. The great thing about visual voicemails, think of the phone system that you probably have right now. You go to lunch, you come back from lunch, and you got 10 voicemails. So it says new messages 10. Well, you'll hit your voicemail key and you have to listen to each message in order that they were actually left. That's kind of an old school way of doing it. Nowadays, when you hit that voicemail, they all show right here.
Please select the voicemail you wish
Kind of like
to
I
hear.
just showed you, and you
When
can pick the
finished,
one you want. You can even go over to another screen. So you have the ability to pan over and keep going through 140 voicemails. And then you, like I said, you just hit this button over here, find the voicemail you're looking for, play it, and delete it from there. Another way that I'll show you later is you can use what's called VIP, which is a GUI interface on your PC. And you can actually see all your voicemails on your computer screen, caller ID, name, number, date, time, duration. You can delete them from there as well. All right. So anyway, let's go back to the display for a minute here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate a call coming in. Okay, and I'm going to answer with speakerphone down here. Now looking at the phone, you'll see caller ID, name and number of the person that's calling in. And remember, we talked about lines just a second ago. You can see that one of your lines is actually in use right now. So Jerry, a lot of people right here will ask me, what happens if another call comes in? What am I going to see? So I'm going to bring another call in. Now you hear a call waiting beep right there, let you know somebody's calling on the other line. Who is it? It's DAXIS Incorporated. So what you can do, just like on a cordless phone you may have at your house, if you hit flash, you see that arrow in the display? It allows you to toggle back and forth, and it's actually going to point at who you're talking to. In this case, DAXIS Incorporated. Well, what's the other caller listening to? Well, they're listening to your built-in music on hold for Liberty Communications, which the phone system has 3 CAN sources built in, or you can actually have us customize it for you where we can advertise your company or whatever you want it to say. Okay. Well, if you want to hang up on DAXIS, you can come down here and hit release, and if somebody's on the other line, in this case Acme Tires, it's going to ring you back and remind you, hey, you got somebody on the other line. There they are. So another thing is, if I was to take my cell phone right now and I go in and put Amanda's name and number in my cell phone, it's not in anybody else's cell phone, right? It's in my cell phone only. Well, these phones have what's called a personal Rolodex, which is kind of like your own cell phone. So if you go in there and store names and numbers in there, it's not in anybody else's phone in the building. So how do you do that? It's real simple. With an ESI, you just hit the EasyDex button one time. It says caller ID stored. So remember the name of this company, Acme Tires, because I'm going to hang up now. So let's say a week goes by and you decide, hey, I need to call Acme Tires. How do you do that? What you do is you hit EasyDex, and it's going to give you 4 options in the display here, but the one we're talking about right now is personal Rolodex. So here we go.
Press a menu key as displayed for the EasyDex directory you wish to access.
Okay, so you got personal, station, system, and location dexes. We're going to go into personal and listen to what it says.
To search for the name you wish to dial, press the scroll key or the first 3 letters of the name.
So if you scroll up in alphabetical order, there's Acme Tires right there. It's an alphabetical order. What if it starts with a T? It would take a while to get there, right? So just like on your cell phone, hit the first 3 letters of the company you're looking for, ACM for Acme, and here they are. So then if you want to call them, you just hit dial right here and it would speed dial Acme Tires. If you want to edit it, you would just hit the edit button and you could go in there and make changes from there. So if you hit dial, if this was a real phone system, it would call them right now. How many of these can I store? On a 50, you can store 4,000. On a 100, you can store 8,000. It doubles as you go up by system. I've been working with ESI for over 8 years. I've never seen anybody use them all up, so store away.
How many?
4,000 on a 50, and it's a system-wide pool. Okay, so you could essentially store 400 if you wanted, and it would take away from the total of 8,000. So everybody that stores one, it comes out of that pool.
I always thought it was 100, so it's actually more than 100.
It's more than 100. That was an old school way. They thought we needed to put a finite number on it for people at each station, and I said, no, I think people are smart enough to understand if you say 4,000 and everybody dips into the same pool, it makes it.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
They can understand that.
Got it.
So the next thing I'll do is I'll say, at your company, if it's a small company with 5 or 8 phones, I don't usually bring it up, but the larger companies like the one we're going to demo for today, I'll say, at your desk right now, you probably have an extension list, right? And they'll say yes. I'll say, so it's either tape at your desk or lying around somewhere. With an ESI, you don't have to have that anymore. And what I mean by that is all 100 of your employees, their names and extensions can be entered into the phone system and pulled out of the phone system. So let me give you an example. This phone right here, let's say, is one of your employees. This is Amy, and this is another one of your employees. This is Doug. He's extension 103. So what I can do if I need to call Doug, and I don't know his extension, is I go EasyDex,
press a menu
station.
key as display. To search for the name you wish to dial, press the scroll key or the first 3 letters of the name.
Once again, scroll up in alphabetical order, or an easier way, D-O-U for Doug. There he is, and then hit dial. Calls over to Doug's phone. So the great thing about this is if you hire a new employee tomorrow, Lynn Bachman, the administrator, in this case Matt on this demo we're about to do, can go in and put Lynn Bachman's name in and his extension in, and it automatically populates itself to everybody in the building. Okay?
What about the remote locations?
It'll do the same thing for remote locations. If you put it in there, it populates itself to all the other stores.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of for the people that like to go green. If you hire a new employee tomorrow, a lot of companies out there, they're killing trees, right? They're handing out all new extension lists and passing them out, and employees are coming and going, so it just becomes this never-ending battle to keep everybody updated. This is a way that the administrator can do it easily and keep everybody updated on the fly.
Got it.
Now in your EasyDex, your third one is called a system-wide dex, and this is different than your personal that I equated to like your cell phone. A system-wide dex is where you're going to put companies' names and phone numbers that everybody here at Liberty Communications needs access to. FedEx is an example, UPS, any of your current vendors, all that good stuff. Same way,
Press the menu
EasyDex, system-wide, scroll through in alphabetical order or the first 3 letters. Okay. Now the last one is your location decks, and this is a powerful one because what we're talking about today is you've got over 20 locations, and you need to simplify things between your stores. Well, what you can do is you can hit EasyDex and then location.
Press a menu key. Press a...
And as you scroll through right now in these examples, it says Chicago, Dallas, Houston. Well, what it could say is the name of all of your other companies within the same city or in another state. It doesn't matter. And what you can do is you can hit next twice.
Next to search for the name
and you'll see names. Here's Dave, Julia, and here's a Mark in your Houston location and his extension. If I was to hit dial right now, it would call Mark across the EasyLink, voice over IP, and ring his station in Houston. There'd be no long distance charges or anything like that. Just to remind you back to what I said earlier, if I put a new employee, Lynn Bachman, in here, it populates itself to all 20 or 21 of your other locations, so they can immediately find Lynn in that location DEX. Okay? Next thing we'll talk about is the record button. ESI actually started off as a voicemail company, so we have the most robust voicemail system in the industry, in my opinion. And let me give you some examples of how it works. A lot of phone systems out there, or just about every system, can record a conversation today. That's pretty standard. But how difficult it is to take that recording and send it to other people in the building can be a challenge on most phone systems. To give you an example, let's demo a few things here. With ESI, we can record anything at any time. So if I hit record, I can record a memo to myself right now, testing 1, 2, 3. Maybe we're recording a meeting and every one of these chairs at this table is filled right now with people all around the room. So we could record it, and if somebody missed it, I could hit voicemail.
Please select the voicemail you wish to
You
hear.
want to pan over to the second screen, and it'll actually say REC for recording next to it. And if I press it, I can record a memo to myself right now, testing 1, 2, 3.
Pausing. Press 1 to continue.
Now, anytime you're listening to a recording or a voicemail, 1 pauses, 4 rewinds, and 5 fast forwards in 5-second intervals. So I paused it, and I'm just going to unpause it now. Maybe we're recording a meeting, and every one of these deleted.
Message deleted.
Okay. So another thing I want to show you right here is you see this little hole right here? This is your microphone. Okay. So let's say that we're having a meeting right now, and all these chairs are filled. So I'm going to hit record. And so right now I'm sitting in this chair right here to your left. Now I'm actually behind the phone. Lynn, if you'll say something.
I'll say something. I'm to the right of the phone, stage right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where we're not actually sitting right now is directly in front of the phone where the microphone's at.